Rodriguez, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Carmina. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all your viewers. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. The president is on his third executive secretary, Attorney Rodriguez, the third in his 3.5-year-old administration. What does that tell you?
Well, for me, as a Filipino and as a lawyer, it doesn't augur well. Especially yung nangyaring shake-up or revamp in the cabinet, nung nasa gitna tayo nung itong massive issue of massive corruption and looting of public funds. Nadagdagan pa ito ng issue ng drug addiction. So yung investors' confidence, both foreign and local investors, it will not be comforting for them to see that key positions in the Marcos Jr. administration ay may mga movement. Yung corruption issue alone, Carmina at mga kababayan, hirap na silang lagpasan. Nadagdagan pa ito kagabi doon sa revelation mismo ng presidential sister regarding the president's drug addiction. So ang issue na pumapalaot sa ating bansa ngayon, hindi lamang korupsyon, kundi drug addiction.
Here's the thing though, Attorney Rodriguez, we're not just talking about some administration here. We're talking about an administration that you helped put into power. What is your sense, from your vantage point, how would you describe the Marcos administration now?
Magkakaroon na ito ng inability to govern. Sapagkat yung tiwalang ibinigay sa kanya ng sambayan ng Pilipino noong May of 2022 naubos, Carmina. Nalulungkot ako in a way because ang daming nagtiwala noong 2022. Hoping that the Philippines will take off at pangungunahan niya yung pag-alis ng ating ekonomiya from its pandemic state. Pero nakikita natin ngayon, bagsak ang ating GDP, bagsak ang ating foreign direct investment, bagsak ang ating piso, bagsak ang ating stock market, bagsak ang kumpiyansa ng mamamayang Pilipino. And again, hindi lamang sa issue na ng korupsyon ngayon, kung hindi yung issue ng drug addiction, bumalik na naman dahil nga categorically sinabi ng presidential sister mismo kagabi, yung pagiging drug addict ng kanyang kapatid, ng Pangulo mismo ng Republika ng Pilipinas. And this is serious. You know, you have to take into consideration what I always and repeatedly say, yung Article 11, Section 1. Public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people. Yung drug addiction, Carmina, is not just a crime. It's a brain disorder. It's a public health issue. At yan may kinalaman din sa Article 12, Section 7 ng ating saligang batas, that in cases of serious illness of the President, the public must be notified as to his state of health.
Here's the thing, though. As I said a while ago, Attorney Rodriguez, you helped. You were also responsible in putting this president to power. Didn't you see any of these allegations of the president's sister way before it was divulged by Senator Amy Marcos?
I've said this many times, Carmina, and I will say this again in your program. I am no virgin when it comes to talks of his being a drug addict or drug dependent or drug user. Pero wala akong nakitang personal nang kami magkasama. Hindi ko talaga nakita eh. And surprisingly, he was able to produce a negative drug test result specifically for cocaine use. And that was sometime in 2021. Pero hindi nga matapos-tapos ang isyong ito, tinuldukan pa o exclamation point pa kahapon ng kanyang kapatid. So, ang kinakailangan gawin talaga ay sumailalim sa open, fair, transparent, and credible hair follicle drug test.
We're going to be talking to the press secretary in a moment after I talk to you to get his reaction to that. But let's move on with this interview. I was able to see one of your live streams, Attorney Rodriguez, and you said, and this is not verbatim, wherein you said, kung nakinig lang sana, kahit 50% noon, nung mga nanggagaling po sa inyo, hindi sana ganito yung sitwasyon. Again, not verbatim, but would you confirm that you said that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Ano yung sinasabi nyo dati na kung sana nakinig lang ang Pangulo? Go ahead.
It's also, by the way, it's also in my book. So consistently, ang sinasabi ko, nagkaigi kami that we will pursue good governance. At ang aming tatalakayin sa 6 na taon ay kung paano mapabuti ang buhay ng mga mamamayang Pilipino. At nagsimula nga iyan nung marami nang nagmamadali na mapunta sa mga posisyon na alam ko naman ay hindi nais maglingkod. Gusto lang gumawa ng pera, gusto lang mangurakot, gusto lang, alam mo yun, magsamantala ng kanilang closeness to the President or someone who is close to the President na nag-refer sa kanila. Kung yun pa lang ay naging consistent siya at talagang inuna niya yung paglilingkod sa ating bansa, hindi niya aabutin ang ganitong kalaking krisis.
Let's talk about the recent resignations. The resignation of DBM Secretary Mina Pangandaman. Did it come too little too late for you?
Yes.
Well, how so? Why?
100 days mahigit na nating pinag-uusapan itong isyong ito. Matagal nang kinakaladkad ang pangalan ni DBM Secretary at yung kanyang paano nabuo yung sweetheart deal na 2.85 billion between sa DBM at yung USEC ng Department of Education na hanggang ngayon ay hindi mapatawag-tawag ng Blue Ribbon. At apparently, just before we go on live, I think, ay nagsumiti na rin ang kanyang resignation, yung USEC ng DepEd na si Trigib Olaybar. Ano ito? Bakit nung nagkakaipitan na resignation and then what? Aalis din sila sa bansa, katulad ng ginawa ni Secretary Manny Bonoan, kagaya ng ginawa ni Saldico? Yan yung mga dapat nung una pa lamang ay ipinatawag na nila kung gusto nilang maging credible kung ano man ang gagawin nilang investigation. As I have said many times, sa lahat ng gagawin, lalo pat ganito kaselan, perception is everything. If people perceive you to be protecting yung mga kampon mo, then the whole process tainted na. Yan ang nangyayari ngayon.
Let's go back to when it all began. We know that the former DBM secretary was one of the OGs in this cabinet, was appointed by the president. You were still there at that time. Who was responsible in pushing that the former DBM secretary, Mina Pangandaman, be given the DBM portfolio?
Si Martin Romualdez.
And how did he do that?
Ubay, dala niya sa bahay ni BBM yan eh. At yan nga daw ang magiging DBM secretary. Hindi ko kilala yan.
And what was being said during that time as to why she should have that portfolio?
Well, apparently, marunong daw sa proseso ng gobyerno. Marunong naman talaga. Sumobra nga lang ang dunong, hindi ginamit sa tama. At qualified naman, etc. Di okay naman. I am just the executive secretary, the glorified secretary to the president. Yun lang naman ang papel ng executive secretary. So pag nagdesisyon ng presidente, itong ating DBM, di yan ang ating DBM. But malinaw sa akin na ang nagdala dyan sa bahay ni BBM doon sa Forbes ay si Martin Romualdez.
Hindi ho ba kayo nagtaka ng mga panahon na yon? As you were forming the cabinet of the president whom you helped win in the 2022 elections, kung bakit siya?
Hindi ako pwedeng magduda, Carmina, lalo na pagka meron ng disposisyon or desisyon ng aking Pangulo. Sapagkat, again, I'm just his alter ego, eventually and ultimately, kung ano ang kanyang mapapagpapasyahan, hindi naman pwedeng mas marunong pa tayo doon sa pinakamataas pagdating sa hierarchy ng gobyerno. So nung binigay niya yung kanyang approval, yung kanyang imprimatur, yan na ang DBM secretary.
But was there something during that time that gave you pause, that sort of made you tentative about the decision, giving her, the former DBM Secretary Pangandaman, the budget portfolio? Go ahead.
Sincerely, Carmina, wala na akong opportunity eh. Sapagkat nung dinala nung gabing iyon, right there and then, okay, siya ang DBM Secretary. Dahil nga dinala ni Martin Romualdez.
Knowing what you know, that she resigned out of delicadeza, should this have been Pangandaman's reason, or even without the revelations of former Congressman Azaldico, should there have been another reason for the resignation of Pangandaman, given that she too was responsible for the passage of, at the very least, the questionable budget for 2025?
nahirapan na siya magsinungaling at mag-cover up for this administration. Mahirap magsinungaling, lalo na kung yung disbursement ng ating national budget, itong illegal, invalid, immoral, unconstitutional, and criminal 2025 national budget, mahirap mo i-cover up yan. Dahil hindi lang naman single piece of document, ang daming papel niyan, ang daming kopya niyan, hindi mo ba pagtatagpi-tagpi yan. And I think umangat na rin yung pressure sa hindi na manageable level. That's why she asked for the president to let her go.
But should that be the end of the story?
No. Nakita na natin eh. Sabi ko nga sa iyo, perception is everything. In a talk as serious as corruption and drug addiction in government, perception is everything. Pag nakita mo nagtatakipan na, wala nang maniniwala sa kahit anong proseso. At ito ay hindi ko lamang haka-haka bilang Pilipino. Nakita natin ang daus-dos ng foreign direct investment, bagsak. Ang daus-dos ng halaga ng piso, ang GDP, ang kumpiyansa ng mamumuhunan. Even the President of South Korea binawi yung 28.5 or 28.8 billion peso loan ng South Korea sa Pilipinas. Bakit? Ang rason niya, simple, massive corruption and looting of public funds.
Now, what do you know about Trigiv Olivar, Attorney Rodriguez? You've mentioned his name several times in your live streams, also in various interviews. What do you know of him? Was he already there when you were forming the cabinet of the president?
Hindi familiar yung pangalan niya eh. I keep on mentioning him, and even in your program, Carmina, based on the affidavit of former USEC Robert Bernardo of the DPWH, katangi-tangi eh. Nanghingi ng listahan, binigyan ng listahan worth 2.85 billion at tingnan mo naman ang kapal na mukha nito na i-release agad yung 2.85 billion at humingi ng 15% commission. At pinatunayan sa affidavit ni Robert Bernardo, naghatid ng makailang ulit sa Magallanes at iba't ibang lugar. Yung 15% ng 2.8 billion pesos ay halos 500 million pesos. Dito nagsimula lalo ang pagdaus-dus ng kumpiyansa ng taong bayan sa administrasyon ni Bongbong Marcos eh. Bakit? Kinaladkad niya ang tanggapan ng Pangulo gamit ang Office of the Executive Secretary. Natigil ang hearing ng Blue Ribbon ng napakatagal, hindi nila sinasagot. Hanggang sa hindi na talaga maawat ang paghingi ng tao ng transparency, full accountability, and justice.
Attorney Rodriguez, I've watched your interviews several times, your live streams as well. You've been calling for transparency and accountability. At one point, you even said, wala namang masama sa pag-ako ng pagkakamali. Again, not verbatim, but in so many words, you said that. Ayusin lang ang investigasyon, you said that as well. But how did you go from there to calling for the president to step down?
Ang linaw-linaw na eh. Ayusin yung investigation. Pinagtatakpan yung mga alyado every time na may lalabas at magsasalita, ang laging sasabihin lang, destabilizer o kaya yinuyug-yug ang gobyerno. Again, corruption is destabilization.
But that's where it gets tricky, Attorney Rodriguez, because who stands to benefit from your call for the president to step down?
The Filipino people, Carmina, para matuldukan na itong korupsyon na ito.
How can the Filipino people stand to benefit if the vice president takes the presidency by virtue of the president stepping down, when you're just going to put in place another dynasty whose history is also peppered with allegations of corruption, instability in behavior, even murder, deaths of countless deaths of your countrymen, Attorney Rodriguez, not to mention the damage to freedom of expression, which you oddly enough claim to protect as well. Go ahead.
Are you saying that when Bongbong Marcos, assuming he will step down, we will abandon the 1987 Constitution and skip the rule on succession? You've mentioned about murder. Meron bang kasong murder ang Vice President, Carmina?
I'm talking about another dynasty. She's another member. She's a family member of another dynasty.
Na mas malaki ang boto sa Pangulo. Wala tayong magagawa ron. I never advocated anything that is outside of the constitutional loop or constitutional orbit.
But here's the
She
thing.
Vice
Here's the
President,
thing.
and by the rule on succession, when the President is no longer capacitated to govern, the Vice President shall assume the role of the President.
But how
Wala
can
akong
you-
magagawa ron. Hindi ko inimbento yun. Hindi mo inimbento yun. Iyan ang ating saligang
But
batas.
how can you, Attorney Rodriguez, separate your advocacy for anti-corruption from this constitutional succession, as you said? The Vice President, who stands to benefit from your call, is also mired herself in corruption allegations. How does that reconcile with your anti-corruption advocacy?
As a media practitioner, alam kong alam mo na walang ini-issue at clear na ng Commission on Audit ang Office of the Vice President kung ang pinatutukuyan mo ay yung paggamit ng intelligence funds. At walang nakabinbin na anumang kaso or impeachment laban sa pangalawang Pangulo. So yung iyong sinasabi na meron siyang issue ng korupsyon, yan ay gawa-gawa. Nakikita naman natin nung makakaliwang grupo na ayaw nang makabalik ang tatak Duterte na serbisyo. But hindi siguro tayo matatapos dito kahit maghapon tayo sa iyong programa. Ang aking tugon doon sa iyong katanungan kung sakaling bumaba ang kasalukuyang Pangulo, naturalmente umiiral ang ating saligang batas, ang Vice Presidente ang siyang hahalili sa mababakanting posisyon. Wala akong magagawa doon, wala kang magagawa. Hindi natin pareho imbensyon yan. Iyan ay nakasulat, nakagarantiya at nakaukit sa ating 1987 Constitution.
Again, people are saying, or at least there are groups who are saying, why stop at the president? Why not include the vice president as well? Yun ang sinasabi ng iba. Ang panawagan, hindi lamang ang iisa ang dapat mag-resign, kundi lahat na mag-resign because they have disappointed the Filipino people. But we're going to have to leave it at that. As you said, pwede tayong maghapon magdiskusyon. But I appreciate your time being with us this afternoon. Former Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez there joining us. Maraming salamat po.
Salamat.
All right, from there, President Marcos